Shalom Aleichem. This is the Christian Anarchist, and he's here with a good video concerning an idea that may help out the Christian education system and possibly even homeschooling itself. So the topic that I wanted to bring about is the idea of the languages that we could learn concerning Scripture and the Bible. Because it's good to do Bible studies, and it's good to study the Bible in its fullest. Rather you be reading commentaries, rather you be looking up different kinds of texts on different translations, rather you be hearing different sermons trying to focus on the different aspects of it, or maybe you're just reading the Bible and you're saying, hey God, speak to me, let the text speak for itself. But the idea that I have is probably going to be able to narrow down our possibilities of doing biblical studies to be a lot easier. Recently I saw a video by the Messianic Drew, and I haven't seen a video updated from him recently, but I do know this, that one of his videos was part of a series that he did called What Christians Can Learn from Judaism, and I think that's also because, you know, he is a Messianic Jew. He's one of the Jewish people that believe in Yeshua, which of course means Jesus, and there was a part in there where it mentions the languages. I'm going to play a clip so you can see what segments from it that I can definitely agree with, and plus, you know, I'll leave a link in the description so that you can go check out the video itself.
Children raised in Orthodox Rabbinic Judaism generally do not depend on translation for reading the Bible. They are able to read it in its original language. From the time Orthodox Jews are very young, they learn the Hebrew alphabet and Hebrew phonics alongside their education in English subjects. As a result, they learn Hebrew as a second language, and reading it becomes much more natural for them than for a seminary student who picks up the language in his 20s. One modern Orthodox rabbi I spoke to told me his rabbinic contemporaries have vastly superior command of the ancient Hebrew language than do the Old Testament professors at divinity schools such as Yale. This does not surprise me. The rabbis read all their ancient and medieval literature in Hebrew and use it in their prayers every day.
So what does this have to do with my idea and proposal to Christian education systems and homeschooling parents in general concerning Christian based education? Well, if we're going to learn the Bible, the best way we can do it is by learning its original language. And not a lot of schools, I don't think, try to incorporate this as much. It could be a side choice of classes, like an elective, or perhaps maybe just a high-programmed education system. But Jews themselves, as mentioned in the video, they had to learn, and they do today continue to learn to read all their literature in Hebrew, and especially start learning to read their scriptures in Hebrew. As far as I'm concerned, the Jewish people only read their sermons in Hebrew based on what they read from their collections of scrolls. And the best part about this is the fact that they can read it in its original language, and they can actually go back and look at the different words and understand the definitions and then understand the context. And because of this, they have reached a certain set of orthodoxy and traditional values, as well as keeping to understanding the heart and intent of the pure scriptures at heart. But what I am proposing is simple. What I am proposing is that we not only start putting in Hebrew learning for our languages in biblical classes, as well as regular, just traditional college educations that are based on Christianity and regular, kindergarten through 12th grade education-based systems, and even homeschooling systems. We should also incorporate learning Greek. Now, I mentioned this to Nephilim Free one time, and he suggested that everyone agreed with me in the room, except for him. He said, who learns or reads Greek anyways? Well, here's the thing with that. If we're going to understand the Bible, in its actual good context, to its fullest, we need to learn the Greek. We need to learn the Hebrew. We need to learn the languages that they were written in, because it helps us understand what we are reading. A lot of people go against this because they say, oh, well, we already have a good English translation, so that's good enough. But then look at the English translations. They have different translations, but at the same time, if you look in the footnotes, they also point out what it could mean because of the things they found in manuscripts, because of things that are found in different contexts of the verb. I know that even us talking to a Jew, that based on his reading on the Torah, especially in the first book in Genesis, he even says that if we were to take Genesis 1 literally, when it talks about the different creation days, he says they wouldn't even be considered 24-hour period days, because there's only the words evening and morning and not noon. So he's told me that based on the reading and understanding of, logic and Hebrew text, that those days, if are to be literal, they are actually 12-hour periods of creation and 12-hour days, instead of 24-hour period days. So it's best that we learn how to read and understand the original language that the Bible was written in, so that way whenever we learn and read it, and whatever we can get from the text, we start walking to a more confidence level. You notice that the Muslims are very well confident when they start quoting their scriptures, because they can recite the original language, and the Jews will even do the same thing. I've even seen some Messianic Jews start quoting in Hebrew and then go straight to the English. And I think Christians should come approaching this same type of way, so that they can not only be more confident in how they preach and debate, but how they also can better spiritually grow in their understanding for truth and knowledge that comes with Jesus Christ. So, that's all my 2 cents. So, until then, the usual. Shalom Aleichem. Peace be upon you, because I wish that upon you.
Subscribe to this channel. You know why? Because he's the cream of the crop. So if you're the cream, you gotta subscribe. Dig it!